Hello, hi, welcome. We are Tea and Toffees. I'm Nightshade, an undead demon.
And hi, I'm Cecilia. I was a witch in my previous life, but not a Harry Potter witch.
We are still on Prisoner of Azkaban, part 2, chapter something to something. I don't even know. We end with 9. I think 5 to 9, probably. We'll see.
Yes, I think 5 to 9.
So, question for this episode. Boggart. I'm curious, you see? Sure, clowns are creepy, I guess. Not scary though, but creepy. Dying is fine. Everyone dies. I'm dead. Darkness? Nah. Spiders? I don't like spiders in real life. They're cool in fiction though. But they're not scary. Snakes? I love snakes. Dementor? What could a Dementor possibly do to an undead demon? So give me a Boggart. I want to find out what it would do.
Showing you giving birth.
Can you repeat that?
Showing you giving birth.
God. And beyond. No. Although. Okay, repeat that again.
Showing you giving birth.
No, you know what? You know what? Well, first of all, I wouldn't call it like pregnancy and giving birth my worst fear. It would definitely, though, be the most horrifying thing that could happen while trapped in a human body made of flesh and bones.
Because that makes a difference?
Yeah, it does. The difference is it shows me giving birth, right? So it wouldn't put me in the middle of giving birth. It would show like a double of me, right?
I guess.
And that is something that wouldn't affect me because that's not me. I don't care. It looks like me, but whatever. That's not me. Who cares? That's just not... It's icky, but it's not scary. It's like, nah.
Yeah.
So, Cecilia,
what
about you?
Well, you also made me curious, wanting to know what my Boggart would be like. But, I don't really know what the limitations of a Boggart are, or how exactly it works. I assume you need to know the fear it is referring to, right?
Probably.
Even though something you don't know yet, because you still lack that experience, could potentially be more terrifying. You just haven't thought of it yet because you haven't encountered it yet, perhaps. I know what my Boggart most likely would be, thanks to the Magnus archives. Because, as I've mentioned before, after listening to that one specific episode, I had to take a break from listening and I had trouble falling asleep, which didn't happen with any of the other episodes, even though it's a horror podcast. It's like, yes, horror podcast, I can fall asleep to that, no problem. But that one episode, no. A dark cave, deep underground. You can barely stand in most places. It's all connected with small tunnels, filled with ice-cold water. In the tunnels, you have just enough space to keep your head above water. In some tunnels, not even that. It feels like the water is rising and you have less and less space, less air to breathe. Even though that might or might not be the case. You don't know. Are you just imagining it, or is it real? Is there someone looking for you? Will they find you before you starve or freeze to death?
Or suffocate.
Or that? Or will they get lost and perish in this dark, cold, and isolated place as well? Would you be the reason for that? The reason why another family must grieve for a beloved person?
I think that would be a rather interesting experience. Not fun, but interesting.
No. Can we talk about something else, please? Toffee, I need some cuddles. Toffee, give me some cuddles. Luckily, she's next to me, and I can cuddle her.
Book 3, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I changed the title. It's not Chamber of Secrets anymore. Chapter 5.
It isn't?
The Demented. When we last left our heroes, as they say, they were still in Hogsmeade. No, actually not Hogsmeade. Diagon Alley, London. Why did I write Hogsmeade? Anyway, time to go to the gigantic death trap of a school called Pigwarts.
Hogwarts?
Pigwarts.
Okay, Pigwarts it is, I guess, for
Hogs are
today's
pigs.
episode.
Pigwarts. Warts of a pig.
Pigwarts.
Pigwarts.
Ron is certainly eager to get there, to get away from Percy, because apparently someone spilled tea on his photo of Penelope. Oh, poor guy.
He deserves that.
He does. But it made me wonder, if something like a spilled tea can affect a photo, then does everything affect the photo? Are they conscious enough to worry about a blotchy nose? Then what happens if they are in a photo album? It would be dark all day long unless someone comes to look at the pictures. And you would be squished on top of another picture? Like in these pages? Do the pictures interact with each other in a photo album? Can you magically remove tea stains? Because I don't think Ron was the first to spill something.
It wasn't even Ron. It was not Ron.
Oh.
Percy just accuses him of it.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah. But how will that affect the people and objects in the photo if you magically remove stains? Do the photo people have memories and will always look angry at the person that spilled the tea on them?
Yeah,
will
and
they
how
spill the tea to other people?
And how are they different from paintings, except for the fact that they apparently don't talk, but they seem to be conscious and have personality? I don't know. I had questions about that too, a lot of them. I already voiced them in our Chamber of Secrets episode, so moving on.
Yes, well, the questions came up again because we never got any answers.
We never will get any answers. Mrs. Weasley.
No, we won't.
Harry comes down and he catches Mrs. Weasley chatting about how she made a love potion as a young girl. Nope. No. We're not opening that kind of worms yet. We have to. In book 6, we will have to, but not now. More importantly, Crookshanks hates his basket. Typical cat behavior. Toffee doesn't do that, but my soulmate cat also hates. She really, really hates her basket. Honestly, Toffee's such a weird cat.
Yes, she is.
On the matter of cats at Hogwarts, I would like to know. We will never get answers to these, but I would like to know. Who feeds the cats at Hogwarts? Generally, the pets. Well, the owlery hasn't. Probably, maybe Hagrid? Caretaker? Owlery? I don't know, but cats? Do the house elves do it? Who does it? How do the newly bought cats get attached to their owners quickly enough to not abandon them when given the freedom to roam Hogwarts? How do the cats get around? Where do they relieve themselves? Who makes sure no fights break out between cats? Because usually, domesticated cats are territory bound and greatly dislike any changes happening to their home. There are exceptions, of course, like Toffee. Again, Toffee would rather come on vacation with us than be looked after by some stranger, but Toffee is also a shelter cat with severe abandonment issues, so that's that. Toffee is, although, a model cat when it comes to hating all other cats. Like, Toffee's the guest, right? This is the territory of my soulmate cat. Toffee's the guest. But Toffee will leave the ordeal completely unfazed, and my soulmate cat will be traumatized. That's just how things are. I think Toffee would traumatize the dog too if given the chance. Anyway, realistically, if you bring a newly adopted cat with you, young or old, doesn't matter, to Hogwarts, it wouldn't bond with you. It wouldn't want to come back home with you at the end of the year because Hogwarts is now its territory.
I'd assume students buy their pets in magical pet shops, like Hermione did, and those are special and born to you and not the place. Or something. Exactly. They take some magical course the ministry provided to keep their precious boy who lived safe to King's Cross Station. And they're jumping to the head of an unmoving tree for the traffic lights. Now, that is very useful, but only as long as you are the one who can do that. And if everyone could do it, then it wouldn't have any use anymore.
True. Yeah, so King's Cross. And this entire bit getting on the train and around the train confused me. I'm confused.
Me too.
They first go to a relatively empty carriage, put their trunks and Hedwig and Crookshanks in the luggage rig, then leave the train to say goodbye. Then Harry runs after the moving train to get in through a compartment door, not a carriage door, and now they have trouble finding an empty compartment? What? So, are their trunks in a part that's meant for luggage and not seating? With Hedwig and Crookshanks? Or are random people sitting with their trunks and pets now? Actually, is it ever mentioned whether the Hogwarts Express has open coaches or whether it's all compartments? We don't know, probably because Harry never tells us. And compartment doors open to the corridor, not the outside. So what is going on?
That part confused me as well. Because one opens the compartment door for Harry when the train has just started moving. But then they set off down the corridor to look for an empty compartment. And that would mean one previously opened the door to the train itself. So you can't open them just like that? That would be a safety hazard if they can be opened at any time.
Wizards.
Or maybe were they at the very back and there's a little balcony-like thingy and Harry jumped on top of there? Because you can still get on there, no problem, if the train just started, right? But then why wasn't Harry standing there and talking to Mr. Weasley? And they set down the train in search for a compartment, so they can't have gotten on at the end of the train. Why is it always the compartment at the end that is empty anyways? Why not the second to last compartment? Less distracting neighbors in the last one. Less direct neighbors that could be distracting. Because if given the choice, I would choose that one. In our trains, you can hear it if the people in the neighboring compartment are talking. So I would want to reduce the noise around me and choose the last compartment. Are compartments spelled to be a bit more soundproof and Harry just never notices or never tells us?
Who knows? Also, technically, I believe, phrasing-wise, you could technically go down also from the end to the front of the... Yes, it would be going up the train, but you can also say you go down the corridor of the train. No matter which direction you go.
I guess.
Just a little... Yeah, it's still the entire thing with... The luggage is just mysteriously... Yeah. Anyway, last compartment, because of course... And there's a person inside. An adult.
Ooh. An adult? Wow. But honestly, not surprising they have never seen an adult before on the train. But there should be adults on the train. To break up fights and the like. Or do they leave that to the prefects entirely?
Wizards. No adult supervision needed. Surely nothing can possibly go wrong.
Surely.
Remus had the professor part also stamped on his suitcase? Because, and I quote, the name Professor R.J. Lupin was stamped across one corner in peeling letters.
So his first name is actually Professor. So everyone is technically calling him by his full name every time they say, Professor Lupin?
Yes. His name is P.R.J. Lupin. Professor Remus. I don't know what the J stands for. Lupin.
Yes.
Oh no.
Whoopsie.
Oh well, I guess. Because if the letters are peeling, it must have been there for a while.
Yes, it must have been.
I wonder if he's really asleep or just pretending. Or maybe he woke up at one point during the trio's conversation and decided to pretend to sleep. So, like a mix. With all the record they were making, would make sense that he woke up. And then...
Maybe he is a deep sleeper. Who knows?
Where did Harry's trunk come from all of a sudden?
Magic.
It's like, yeah, the sneakoscope is sneakily good writing, if I mentioned that last time. Moving on. Where did the luggage come from? Because Crookshanks is now also somehow there. But they put that away elsewhere earlier and never mentioned retrieving it again. And then, where, how, what? Explain that to me.
I can't.
They put it in an empty carriage compartment thingy. I don't remember the phrasing. Then they try to find an empty compartment. Now the luggage is with them. How? Wait, how?
I mean, it could be that they went to retrieve the luggage. They just temporarily stored, and then once they had their compartment,
but we weren't told about that.
Yeah, because it's Harry.
I'm confused.
And it's bad writing.
I'm confused.
Or the editor slept. I don't know.
I'm confused. Yeah, anyway.
Me too.
Harry and Hermione won't talk. Hogsmeade is still the only thing on Harry's mind. Hermione is the only sensible person in the room. As always, time passes by. Their compartment is the last on the train, right?
Yes.
Why are people chasing backwards and forwards past the door of their compartment? I think his editor was asleep during this part.
Yeah, they were just taking a nap.
Just as they were doing the entirety of Order to Phoenix. Oh well. It is getting dark outside. They must be nearly there any moment now, and then the train slows down and comes to a sudden halt.
Luggage falls out of the racks when the train stops. Unsafe. Especially in a magical train, you should have measures in place to prevent luggage from falling out in case of an emergency brake.
True.
And then the light goes out in the train before the Dementors board the train, and it's total darkness. How did they stop the train to begin with? How was it communicated that the train must stop, with an emergency brake no less, so that Dementors can get on?
They probably just showed up, hovering above the train tracks, right in front of where the train was going to come through. So they forced it to stop, I guess.
Now I want to see the train just not stopping and blasting past the Dementors, and the Dementors go whoosh.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to darkness.
Toffee?
No, not this time. What about Hermione's bluebell flames? Or Lumos? No, because not in Hogwarts yet and therefore not allowed? Not that they would care about that, I imagine, but why don't they make their own light?
Well, Hermione won't, but Lupin summons flames to hold in his hands. Non-verbal, wantless magic, like Tom the bartender.
Powerful. Good thing he's a teacher.
I'm not so sure about that being a good thing.
No?
Yes, you will see why in the next chapters. Also, I'm fairly sure it's meowed and not meowed. I've written that on screen. It's okay. Maybe I don't know how to spell cat noises, but I'm pretty sure that's incorrect.
Yes, I have to agree with you.
Now, how did they get back at the end of first year? Probably the same way everyone above year 1 is getting to the castle now. So I'm assuming with the stagecoaches, as Harry says, each pulled, Harry could only assume, by an invisible horse. Ha! Indeed, Harry. It's not magical spells. It's thestrals. Thestrals!
Yeah, you and your thestrals. And again, I wonder why Harry can't see the thestrals yet. He has seen death after all. Or do you need to actively remember? We have touched upon this in the last Harry Potter episode already, and we will get into it at some point.
Again, yes. Yeah, especially the Dementor makes him relive his mother's death, even though he realistically shouldn't be able to remember that. So what? Oh, anyway.
Yes, I'm remembering this death. But I have not seen death yet, because I cannot see the thestrals.
Imagine a small little muggle-born seeing the thestrals for the first time, not knowing what they are, and none of their friends can see what they see. Poor thing. Everyone's calling you crazy now, because magical children have apparently all never heard of thestrals before. I want one.
Of course you do. And Draco somehow knows that Harry fainted. Longbottom apparently told him. To which I say, why would Neville have told anybody about Harry fainting? Especially Draco. Doesn't make any sense to me. Really doesn't. Neville has no reason to tell anyone.
Did you?
No,
did
no,
you,
I did not spell that.
Did you really
no,
write?
I did not.
You wrote Newville.
No, no, I did not.
I think Genshin is getting to your head.
Yes.
But also, good question. Why would Newville tell Draco?
Oh, please don't call him Newville every time now. It's Neville.
I think I might call him Longbottom a few times. Newville.
Yeah.
Newville.
I mean, Neville is not an ancient dragon with hydro powers.
Hey, imagine that, Neville. Our poor loser boy Neville becoming one of the best main TPS characters in Genshin Impact. Moving on. Dementor. I probably will repeat myself a few times this chat. Or maybe not. We'll see. Considering how many students attend Hogwarts, anywhere between 200 and 1,000, probably around 600. Maybe not. Who knows? She can't do math. You know that. Shouldn't several people have been affected by the Dementor the same way Harry was? With so many people, chances that no one has had any traumatic experiences like Harry's are rather slim, and Harry shouldn't be able to remember his parents dying in the first place because he was 1 year old. Yes. And of course,
yes.
Harry's pride and dignity are more important than his health, as always. Right. So Harry and Hermione missed the sorting because Harry's health. No, not important, Harry. Yeah, McGonagall wants to see them. I still say there were more students who missed it. Should have missed it, realistically, because health, because Dementor drama. And Hermione misses it because more plotline weaving. Hermione's table issues. Yes. Insert praise here. And then they're off to the Great Hall to at least partake in the welcoming feast, if not the sorting.
And layout time. Harry and Hermione go back down the marble staircase to the entrance hall to enter the Great Hall. So they're using the main entrance, big double doors. McGonagall goes to her seat at the staff table, and Harry and Hermione go into the other direction towards the Gryffindor table, other implying the opposite. I gather from this that the student tables are horizontal to the staff table, and that Gryffindor is not among the two closest to them, should the doors be in the middle. Or that the door is not in the middle in the first place, but closer to the staff table, which would mean less walking for the teachers if they use the main doors, which convenient. And does back of the hall mean the side of the door or the side opposite the staff table? Because the duo walks along the back of the hall. Do they want to sit down at the other end of that table, or are they vertical after all? And this was the shortest way? Implying that the doors are not in the middle and further from the staff table.
I'm assuming you mean... let me pull up the drawing from Prisoner of Azkaban, or a screenshot. I can't find it anymore. I think that was one of the data files I lost at one point. Anyway, good thing I have backups for everything. But you can't back up every second, right? So here I have a little badly pixely screenshot-y thing. So I'm assuming you mean that, like, we have the head table and then the 4 house tables at a 90-degree angle, right? And you see here that they might be actually all in the same direction. I'm not gonna draw that. Just we're gonna turn the tables 90 degrees so that we have like 5 vertical tables. Is that what you were talking about?
Yes, we turn the...
No, we take this picture and just put the head table to one side so it has that it's facing the same way as the other tables.
Yes, for example, put it like with the Hufflepuffs.
Okay, yeah. What I think is actually the case, because remember in Philosopher's Stone, they were standing in front of the head table, facing the house tables, and Harry told us, right, from the left, the right, the second, and so on, which is how I drew this chart, right?
Yes.
So they must be at a 90-degree angle to each other, but let's move the doors to the side. Let's move it over here furthest from Gryffindor. Now, of course, McGonagall is re-entered the doors to the left, so she can go to the head table. As a student, you would never choose to walk between the head table and the student tables, right? You would go to the back of the hall,
yes.
And from there, so the opposite direction, and then from there, walk past all the house tables to Gryffindor. This arrangement, like I said, is from Philosopher's Stone. Don't know why I always want to say Prisoner of Azkaban. Philosopher's Stone. It's not it doesn't apply to most books, though, the house table, the order of the house tables, because in most books, Slytherin is right by the doors, which I disagree. We would never willingly sit there. No, we would never willingly sit there. We need one wall to our back. Not the door, not other tables, one wall. Anyway. Also means all Slytherins sit on one side of the table, generally.
Yes.
Yeah. Most books, including this one, Slytherin's by the door. And then you get Ravenclaw, and then Hufflepuff, and then Gryffindor, because Gryffindor is mentioned to be furthest from the door in most books. This does solve the problem partially, because everything's still inconsistent, but works with what just happened, at least, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think other people have figured this out already, so...
Still inconsistencies.
Yeah, it's never... well, if we say... Well, also, it doesn't make sense for the houses to swap tables, because...
no, it doesn't.
Everyone just goes with what they're used to, generally, so they would prefer to sit at the same table every year, so why would you ever change that?
I don't know. But they got to their seat eventually. But before our heroes can dig in, it's time for Dumbledore's little speech. You couldn't help trusting Dumbledore. Oh, Harry, we very much can mistrust him.
From the headmaster, we learned that Kettleburn, Care of Magical Creatures teacher, retired to enjoy more time with his remaining limbs. That doesn't bode well at all. Wonder how he lost them.
So you are in risk of losing them by being the Care of Magical Creatures professor?
Apparently.
Okay, don't want that professorship. No, thank you.
Maybe having a thing for dangerous creatures is just part of the job description and not a Hagrid-specific trait. Or maybe he got that from Kettleburn, but no, he was taken in by the previous groundskeeper. Forgot his name, something with an O. It doesn't matter anyway.
How little qualifications do you need to be allowed to teach? Because Hagrid didn't even write his OWL exams, let alone pass them.
Yeah, he was expelled in, what was it, third year?
Third year, yes.
Hagrid, perfectly qualified to teach. Wizards don't need to study to become teachers after all. Free professorship on top. Yeah, never mind that he didn't even finish his own education at Hogwarts. No, he gets a professorship out of it. Assuming the UK does it the same way as most of Europe, where professorship is a very high position at a university or scientific research institute.
Yes.
So, this is a very good educational foundation to teach younger generations. A good educational foundation for the future of the magical world. No wonder it's all held up by magic. Should have realistically collapsed decades, if not centuries ago. And we all know the only jobs you can get are ministry or shopkeeper.
Yes. Or teacher
or
at Hogwarts.
Or just Hogwarts stuff. In Britain, at least. Since we never learn about the others. Not really. Hagrid. The applause was tumultuous at the Gryffindor table in particular, so it makes me wonder. We know why Harry and friends are happy, of course, but what about the rest of the students, Gryffindor in particular? Why are they so excited? How do they know Hagrid? Why Gryffindor in particular? I want to know.
Oh, I don't know. Why are you asking me?
I wouldn't be
How am I
interested in
supposed
him.
to
I would never
know?
have met him and be like, okay, curtsy, applause, and then be like, yeah, sure, don't know you.
I mean, I think the Slytherins are just very politely clapping, if at all.
Yeah, same. I mean, I am a Slytherin, so Ravenclaw's probably as well. But it's like,
Ravenclaws may be rather reserved in general, and then you have the Hufflepuffs and Gryffindors who are maybe like around the same amount, and then but our heroes, they are friends with him and clap extra loudly, and that makes the difference. Harry mentions here.
I don't think so, because the applause was tumultuous. At the Gryffindor table in
it
particular.
would imply that everyone is like, yes.
No, you know what? Harry's just having delusions, and he thinks that's what the case because he likes Hagrid and wants this to be what is happening.
Yeah, that could also be the case,
right? Yes.
Anyways, Hagrid is part of the staff now. However, we don't know. The food is way more important.
Is it?
Yes, because who cares about the teachers? I don't think any of these teachers, at least from what we really see, are particularly good teachers.
No one is. No one. Not a single one of them.
So the food is very more important. So I noticed the last morsels of pumpkin tart melted from the plates. I'm like, melted? Sticky. And in need of cleaning. Ugh. Get me away.
I don't think that's what Harry meant. Well, I don't think he meant that literally, right? Also, ooh.
I don't know.
Ooh, pumpkin tarts. Ooh. Bah.
Yeah, why would I eat that? I mean, no wonder it was left over.
Yes. Chapter 6. Talents and Tea Leaves. We start this chapter with Draco making fun of Harry, and the Gryffindors have to walk past him, so that works with the chart I redrew earlier.
And when the trio exits later, they pass Draco at the Slytherin table.
So, works so far.
Works so far.
I still think it's unrealistic that Harry was the only one who fainted, that he was the only one who had such a bad reaction to the Dementors in general. And because this offends me so much, let me basically repeat myself in differently phrased words. So, Harry's memory is from when he was an infant, and his brain technically not even developed enough to retain it. I don't believe no other student had any childhood trauma. Unless the Dementors only entered his carriage, but why would that be? They were looking for Sirius, and I doubt they would have sensed him from outside the carriages, compartments, whatever they're called. And why would Harry's be special? Because of the Horcrux? But there's no indication, no hint that only his carriage was entered by a Dementor and no other. I said it before, I said it again. At a school with several hundred students, it is highly unlikely that none experienced traumatic events of any sort that a Dementor's presence would make them relive. Moving on.
Do they really have divination magister studies and arithmancy at 9 o'clock on their first day? What about someone who chose 2 of these, or even all 3? I guess I didn't choose 2 out of these subjects, neither in canon nor fanon, but still.
Well, Hermione's timetable implies that no third year Gryffindor took 2 or all of divination, magic studies, and arithmancy, and yeah, okay, I can see that.
Yeah, I can see that as well, but still.
Gryffindor. Or bad writing. It's either one of those.
Yeah, it's either one of those. Because now that I think about it, I can see maybe that someone takes divination and magic studies together, but I guess none in this year.
In Gryffindor.
I guess. In Gryffindor. But if anyone would take those classes together, I would assume it's Gryffindor, Anyway, layout time again. Because Hagrid pauses on his way to the staff table to talk with the trio. 10 question marks? Other entrance, I guess? Or is Hagrid taking a detour?
There could very well be side doors, or like I said, inconsistencies. Main door is on the other side after all.
Yeah.
Well,
Maybe a side entrance for the teachers on the exact opposite sides. Who knows?
boys only have divination, so to divination we go. Never learn anything about the other subject.
Oh, at 9 o'clock. Nice. You can sleep in a bit.
Rather late if you have a standard 6-lesson schedule, which they must have with the amount of classes they're taking.
Yeah. I didn't consider that. Yes, you are right.
Yeah. Can Trelawney not use Reparo on the teacup Neville breaks?
No. I guess not.
And who is Hermione partnering up with? Who's her?
No one.
Yeah, she's
No
just
one.
reading her own tea leaves. Because Harry doesn't bother to tell us. He doesn't care. What a good friend he is.
Very good friend.
By the way, Church Grims are not the only mythical black dogs. They are all of the black dogs very interesting. Seeing a Church Grim, or just generally one of those, depending, they're all slightly different mythology, right? It doesn't mean you will die. Everyone dies eventually, of course. Not as a consequence of seeing a Grim. And even if that were a case, it still wouldn't be the Grim's fault. The Grim's only there to foreshadow some other event, which is actually what Banshees do, not Grims. Grims guard churchyards. So a churchyard usually includes a graveyard, because that's what it actually guards, but legend says churchyard, not cemeteries in that case. I did not research this, or I would have put the other black dog names in there. I think one of them is Barges, I don't know how to pronounce it. Anyway.
So, can we have a Grim as a pet?
Yes, please. But also no, please. Because churchyard and Toffee.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, bad idea.
Well, this was a very short lesson. Did not get the impression that it was really, really short for a lesson.
Yes, very short.
Anyway, next is Transfiguration.
Or maybe they just sat there for like an hour drinking tea.
No, they had to be fast. They burned their tongues with the scalding hot tea.
Oh, yeah.
Transfiguration. I, personally, would be more interested in my teacher being able to transform into an animal, a cat at that, than some death-omen weird divination teacher predicted. And surely, not all Gryffindors chose divination, so what's with the atmosphere of everyone shooting glances at Harry and turning their heads towards him? What?
Rumors travel fast.
It doesn't sound like it, though. Sounds more like, apparently, all of Gryffindor third year takes divination? Which means Hermione is the only third year Gryffindor to take Arithmancy and Marker studies at all.
It's bad writing, let's face it.
Yes, it is. Next up, Care of Magical Creatures. Yay.
Yay!
Great idea, Hagrid. Start with the big, dangerous creatures not suited for beginners. Sure, no risk of students getting hurt because they never learned how to handle such deadly creatures. Just put Harry on top of one and let the other students loose on the rest.
I know Hagrid meant well with his first lesson.
Did he?
And
Did he mean well? Did he? Or did he just think, oh, cool creature? And didn't think any more beyond that.
I think he just, he wanted to show a cool creature for his first lesson. And hippogriffs are interesting, but as a first lesson when the children know nothing yet, it's a bit overwhelming. These creatures can be very dangerous and even deadly. But this is Hagrid. He also thinks the Monster Book of Monsters is fun.
Draco did have a valid point there. How do you open a biting book? By stroking it. Oh, yes, so obvious. Very funny. Totally.
Very obvious, And Hagrid wants to let Harry ride the dangerous creature and then slaps it on its hindquarters?
Yes.
This proud and haughty creature that would get offended if you don't bow properly and might kill you because of it.
Yes.
Or will kill you if you rip a feather out.
Yes.
Let's slap it. Sounds like a good idea. Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's do that. Kill the protagonist.
Yes. I do like, though, about the scene that Harry does not enjoy flying on Buckbeak's back. And how he describes the differences to her broom and stuff.
Yeah, that's nice.
Which I discovered I don't like flying on a broom. Not in Hogwarts Legacy, at least. Anyway. Hippogriffs are not griffins, just meant to mention that for those who are curious, and Gryffindor's signature thing is a griffin, not a hippogriff. Just they're similar but different. Just saying that. Some birds also have sensitive beaks, but not all of them. So it's possible that Buckbeak can feel Harry petting its beak, because I think there are people who are like, what? That's just hard. What is it, keratin or something? Anyway. Yeah, some of them can actually sense if you touch their beaks. Some are more sensitive than others. I don't think it's a nice sensation, though, but I'm not sure. I'm not a bird expert. That were just some notes I had on this. Anyway, yeah.
So, Draco Malfoy's dislike of Hagrid is stronger than his common sense, and he offends the hippogriff.
As one does.
Malfoy had it coming for him. Not deadly. Ugly brute. Time to severely injure. I'm dying. Look at me. It's killed me. If it killed you, then you wouldn't be able to say that it killed you. Stop being overdramatic.
Or maybe there was a necromancer in this class and just subtly revived him or something.
Oh yeah, that could also be the case. Harry wouldn't pay attention to that.
So many classes. Wow, extra classes, lessons at a school. Can't believe it.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Chapter 7. The Boggart in the Wardrobe. More classes. At a school. What are we missing? Potions.
Potions.
So what will Draco
Dungeon bed
learn from not doing anything and having others brew his potion for him? Couldn't he just observe his classmates instead?
No.
Unnecessary bullying on Snape's part. Are we surprised? No.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever said this man was good?
No.
Who said that? Who? The author? What? He hates children. He's extremely Draco biased. He always bullies Harry and Neville, promising to poison poor Trevor.
Why is Trevor with them in potions class? I would have left him in my dorm for classes. Especially doing potions classes.
Very dangerous of explosions and poisoning.
Uh-huh.
Apparently also the shrinking solution makes you age backwards, huh?
Huh?
Because
Huh?
Trevor turns into a tadpole, not a small version of himself.
Weird.
He doesn't
Very weird.
shrink. Odd.
Just be glad that it didn't splatter of any of the students and made them revert back to babies.
When they exploded the enlarging thing potion, whatever that was called. And then one of Grab or Goyle had like ice the size of plates or saucers or something.
Saucers, maybe.
Yeah, that was so weird to imagine.
Anyways, we're done with potions class now, and Hermione pulls a disappearing act after class and then says she's hungry for lunch, which is actually quite nice. Well, it's not nice that she is hungry, but it's in line with her. What?
Hunger, what is that?
Oh, yeah. Well, something you don't know as an undead demon, but I know it. Hunger sucks. And it's not nice that she is hungry, but it's in line with her use of the time turner. Technically, more time has passed for her than for others, after all. And being hungry right before lunch is something so normal that it doesn't register as something odd. But if you know that she's using a time turner, you know that the time turner usage is reason for her hunger. Does that mean she also ages faster now?
I think the author confirmed that somewhere. Also,
hey,
if Hermione doesn't snack in between, it's like if she should eat double the amount because she's just casually living every day twice, right?
Yeah, she should. Mm-hmm.
But if she just eats twice the amount during normal meal times, then considering the time she relives, it's just a bit creates a bad eating habit.
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah, she's just casually aging a whole year more than the boys. I think the author was like, yeah, that's why she's more mature. Aren't girls more mature in general, but whatever. Not even using the time turner to get some rest. Who sanctioned this? Oh, right, McGonagall. I told you she wasn't that good of a teacher either. Next class, Gotta get them all of the way after all, right? Right.
Right.
Time to rip Lupin into shreds. Sorry, Lupin. First, let's go elsewhere. Second, let's deal with Peeves. The spell Lupin uses is Vadivasi. So that means Latin isn't necessary? I mean, I suppose magical people from other cultures would of course use other languages. Not that we ever learn about that. But what does that mean for... Ah, right. There is no properly functioning matching system, never mind. Third, a boggart.
If the boggart takes the shape of what it thinks will frighten us the most, how does it know? Does it look into our head and scan our memories along with the emotions connected to them? If you know you will face one might think about what they find frightening, what shape the boggart might take. Will those thoughts influence the shape it takes? Because in Harry's case, it's implied. So let's go give these children some trauma, shall we?
Ah, Remus, darling. I like you, my dear, but you're making the same mistake as Hagrid. You're lucky the Gryffindors have rather mundane fears. I was about to say they are rather mundane, which also...
Wow. Wow, this the Gryffindors.
Well, am I wrong? Although, no, actually, that would apply more to Hufflepuffs than Gryffindors.
What the hell is Hufflepuff?
Yes, exactly. So, he's lucky they have rather mundane fears. I mean, I suppose that fits Gryffindor, bravery, whatever, yada yada. Who cares? I don't know what Gryffindors are. Did Remus go looking for boggarts for all of his classes? Or third-year classes, at least? What went wrong with the other houses? How many children did he leave traumatized as a result? With no time to prepare and sit down to actually think about it and talk it over with the teacher, realistically, barely any 13-year-old should have managed to fend off a boggart. I know Lupin wanted to start off with a bang, but... I love that word. But...
Cat butt.
Cat butt. Yes, always the cat butt. So, Lupin should have taken the time to give each student more than a few minutes to think about their greatest fear and how to turn it into something funny. Give them the chance to talk it over with him and ask him for advice if needed. It's ridiculously unrealistic, but I suppose good on the little Gryffindors for handling it so well.
Their fears are also really not all that scary. I can see Snape being Neville's greatest fear, but the others? A mummy, a banshee, okay, yeah, banshee, valid. A rat? A rattlesnake? A single bloody eyeball? And the seventh hand reminds me of the Addams Family.
Thing!
Yes, thing. And of course, for one, a giant spider, just not scary?
Yeah, I can see Snape. I understand the spider, especially for one, because Aragog.
I mean,
for
I guess
layer of
Aragog
spiders. Also, imagine that. Take one of these.
Been traumatic.
Take one of these icky, bitty, disgusting spiders. You know the ones I'm talking about, super disgusting ones, because some of them are not that bad. Now you multiply it in size. You make it bigger than you. Imagine that in real life.
Oh.
Valid fear.
I would turn around and run away.
Yes, valid fear. Banshee? Yeah, I understand the reasoning for that. Because unlike the Grim, that one does actually announce the death of someone. She doesn't... but I think they're depicted as female. Banshees don't cause the death, but they're there if someone's going to die, so... And the rest is just, I suppose, representative of naive children, I guess. Nothing major. No one who had very deep, traumatizing fears they wouldn't know how to handle. I mean, we established that with the Dementors. Apparently no one in the school is traumatized. No one has childhood trauma out of hundreds and hundreds of students. No one who was unprepared because they either couldn't think of something funny or didn't know what shape their fear would take in the first place. And no one had a problem with revealing their deepest fear in front of the others.
Yes. Showing the whole class your worst fear? That's a terrible choice. It's just, practice is good and all, but public practice? No. Do it in private, have the children wait outside or something. You should have another supervisor in that case, though.
Ha! As if. As if.
I know. Yeah. So, sufficient preparation, sufficient time for the pupils to think, to consult their teacher, and then to conduct the training in private.
Oh, they have to learn how to face their fears, especially in front of others. But let's not traumatize them with the appearance of one Lord Voldemort, courtesy of Harry Potter. Would anyone even know what this is what Voldy looks like and be traumatized by that? I mean, I suppose it would be Quirrell right? Not that Lupin would know that. Actually, does Lupin know about the Quirrell? Or because otherwise, like, Harry was an infant, he wouldn't know what Voldy looked like back then. We don't even know what Voldy looked like back then.
I mean,
it wasn't a noseless... We don't know what Voldy looks like at this point. We only know what Tom Riddle looked like. No one knows.
Yes.
Harry should know.
Because I guess no one ever describes what Lord Voldemort, the Dark Lord, actually looks like.
Yeah, and then it's like, these students wouldn't know anyway. Wouldn't know. Harry might, but the others wouldn't know that. They wouldn't be traumatized because they're like, who is that scary-looking person? Is that Voldemort? Right?
I mean, they might... Just based on descriptions they've maybe heard from their parents or relatives. I don't know.
Still, it doesn't sound traumatizing to me, especially considering they might actually carry other trauma with them if that was real. It's not realistic.
Yes.
It's not realistic.
Yeah, and it was an impulsive decision on Lupin's part to just jump in there.
Yeah, he could have...
And summon a shiny orb.
Maybe he should have taken that into account beforehand, made sure to take Harry aside or something, you know. No.
Maybe he should have, but he didn't because he isn't actually a good teacher.
Also, does Ridiculous only work on Boggarts?
Maybe it works on other things as well.
So you can turn anything into something funny with it. No practice needed, as this lesson makes apparent. Right.
Cast it on a doggo.
Well, doggos are already fun enough on their own.
Yes, but I can imagine that the doggo would have fun.
Why would the doggo be the one having fun if you turn it into something fun? The doggo doesn't have a concept of fun. It's a dog.
Well, I don't know.
Cecilia, you're confusing me.
I'm confusing myself.
Okay, so, for reasons as stated, Lupin intervenes with Harry's turn, and as you mentioned, we see the Boggart turn into a silvery orb, Harry? Harry, really?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what the moon looks like? Harry,
No.
Harry. Never seen the moon before in his life.
Harry just hasn't paid any attention to the moon. Ever. Not even during midnight astronomy classes.
Moving on. Chapter 8, Flight of a Fat Lady. Oh, bad. Have I ever mentioned that I dislike the Gryffindor portrait's moniker?
You haven't, actually.
Fat lady. It's bad.
It's bad.
It's bad. So, everyone lost defense now. No one got traumatized. Perhaps Lupin only had the one Boggart, or he realized the flaws in his first lesson. And how lucky he was with the Gryffindors and amended his plans. The only ones who aren't excited are Malfoy and his gang of Slytherins. So the rest doesn't complain? No one else? No one at all? Everyone's favorite subject is now defense? From every house and every year? Sure. Snape's also in a foul mood. Well, one of Snape's bullies is teaching the job he wants, using Boggarts to make fun of him. Another one of his bullies is on the loose, having betrayed the woman he loved, whatever. And her child, which looks like the third bully, is an arrogant twat. Of course Snape would be in a foul mood. And since he's never learned to keep his personal business outside the classroom, bullying his students it is. Great man, Dumbledore. Best teacher to hire, really. I'm joking, of course. But are we surprised? I have yet to see a single competent teacher at Hogwarts, and it's not like anyone needs an actual education in teaching to get hired for any subject. What's next? Oh gosh, Quidditch. Skip.
Just one thing. We didn't need the Quidditch explanation. At least make it shorter. Seeker must catch a tiny ball, and the rest of the team is mostly redundant.
Yes.
And I don't really care that they haven't won the cup in 7 years, but didn't they only start losing after Charlie left? And that wasn't 7 years ago, was it? It would mean he left 5 years before Harry and Ron came to the school.
You know, back when I had this question, you didn't care about it. We went over that already. Why do you care now? Are you bullying me, Cecilia? It was episode 13, by the way. Yeah, and this was already two things more than I wanted to hear about Quidditch, because it's Quidditch.
And didn't I previously raise the question about age and how old Charlie really was, and if we know that?
Well, yes, we do. Yes, we discussed this. Moving on.
Returning to the common room after practice, Crookshanks pointedly eats a spider in front of Ron. Oh, how lovely of him.
Go, Crookshanks. Attack the rat. Attack it. Attack the rat.
Yes. Crookshanks doesn't understand it's wrong. They keep talking about this mass murderer that hopefully will get caught soon. Crookshanks just wants to help and is chasing the culprit. Very intelligent cat. Good cat. Very good cat. He doesn't deserve all this hate from Ron.
Such a good boy, Crookshanks says.
Yes.
Has Sirius already communicated with Crookshanks at this point, or is this simply the Kneasel part sensing something fishy in that rat? Or is it Kneasel? You never know.
Kneasel? I don't know. I
I overheard a student in Hogwarts Legacy say knut instead of nut, and I was like, the money part, and I was like, what? Huh?
Yeah.
Huh? Oh, okay. Whatever.
Weird. Anyway,
Actually,
and then
in that same lesson, I was allowed to pet Kneasels, but I don't remember whether they said Kneasels. It was the same scene. Anyway, yes, sorry. Continue.
I haven't been to that part yet, and Ron and Hermione don't talk during the Transfiguration lesson because they're angry at each other. Wow, what a shock. You shouldn't talk during class to begin with.
Well, yes. But as we will later learn, Gryffindors are incredibly rude to their teachers.
Oh, yes, they are.
Same lesson. Hogsmeade comes up again.
Yay.
Neville's Gran sent his permission slip directly to McGonagall, which is a good move on her part. Sorry, Neville. I would have either lost that permission slip or forgotten to have it signed and then faked my imaginary parents' or guardian's signature. On that point, Harry, why didn't you fake the signature? You've been practically obsessed with visiting Hogsmeade. It was more important than your possible expulsion and a mass murderer. Also, could he have asked Mr. or Mrs. Weasley? Would that have been accepted? Who knows? But yeah, it's just faking is not that hard, especially if your guardians are muggles. No one's going to ask them about it. No one's going to notice that the signature is fake. Another question. What reason would parents have not to sign?
First, he didn't fake the signature because he's a Gryffindor, and surely, I don't know, that's why.
But he breaks rules all the time.
A valid point. Valid point. I don't know if it would have counted if Mr. or Mrs. Weasley had signed it. Who knows? And what parent wouldn't sign it? Maybe they don't want their children to go unsupervised into Hogsmeade. I don't know. There are some weird parents out there.
I suppose. Harry encounters Filch. Filch is awfully suspicious of Harry. I was like, surely the village isn't interesting enough that every single one of the older students was going, but of course, Harry is a third year and a Gryffindor. That is suspicious. I agree with Filch. Suspicious. Suspicious.
Yeah,
what are you doing? Why are you not in Hogsmeade?
Maybe the kids all love Hogsmeade because they can buy sweets unsupervised. Sweets they can't get with the Hogwarts buffet. And kids also like joke items. And of course, the urge to explore for the novelty.
Novelty?
Novelty? Novelty.
Novelty, I think. I still don't see how Hogsmeade differs from Diagon Alley, regarding the shops at least. You might not have seen these specific types, but it's the magical shopping district. Of course Diagon Alley would have sweet shops and joke items and such. The Leaky Cauldron can hardly be the only pub there.
But you go there with your parents, and you want to be unsupervised. You want to buy your joke items that your parents don't allow you to buy.
Only works if you got pocket money, though.
True.
I don't see anyone getting pocket money there. Anyway, Harry next runs into Lupin, gets invited to tea. A lovely little British note Lupin unfortunately only has tea bags and no proper tea.
Yes, very British. And I also wondered what Lupin would have done had Harry told him about the dog he saw in Magnolia Crescent?
Crescent.
Crescent.
The Crescent Moon.
Crescent Moon.
3 houses.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I remember now. Yes.
Yes. Crescent Moon. Fire Emblem. So, I had the same thought. If Harry had told Lupin about the dog he saw, what would his reaction have been? Lupin is, at this point, guiltily keeping the Animagus secret after all, despite believing Sirius to be a lunatic mass murderer traitor after Harry's life. Lupin? Sorry, what? You're doing what? And Dumbledore is letting that person teach. Chill. See, that was my second point. Lupin is. It's actually not.
Yeah.
It's not a good thing that he's a teacher, because even later on, when Sirius breaks in several times, Lupin does not mention anything about the secret he's keeping, because he feels guilty. But there's a mass murderer on the loose who has an easy access to Hogwarts and knows the secret passageways, and might want to kill Harry.
I am inclined to agree with you. He's a bad teacher.
It just speaks a lot to his morals.
Exactly, and that's why he is a bad teacher, because if he were a good teacher, he wouldn't allow that. He would have told Dumbledore, okay, he has
doesn't even need to be a
form.
teacher. Just isn't he supposed to be a Gryffindor? Shouldn't he?
He's supposed to be in Gryffindor, and he's supposed to be a good person.
Anyway,
but
of course, as all things do, their conversation turns to Harry's indignity at being left out of the Boggart lesson. Childish pride, I suppose, and how it wouldn't have been bullied by the Dementor. And then Lupin says, "So what you fear most of all is fear." Very wise. Am I the only one who thinks that's stupid?
No, you're not.
Not to mention that Dementors are a metaphor for depression and not fear. How do you fear fear?
Have you even felt fear before?
Not really. Well then, Cecilia, how do you fear fear?
Well, you fear being afraid because that's a bad feeling. It's just not a nice feeling. And you want to keep a clear mind and not, well, it's just not nice overall.
Not convinced.
Of course you aren't. Maybe that's just a human thing.
But I suppose it's like, okay, fear is a really bad feeling. You don't want to feel fear, but that wouldn't be fearing being afraid. I don't get that part. And the Dementor is still not.
It's confusing.
The Dementor still doesn't stand for fear. It stands for depression.
You know that I'm bad at explaining things.
Yeah, no,
don't ask me to explain.
It's like, if you fear being afraid, then you would be afraid all the time, and that doesn't make. It's like, I understand being uncomfortable with having fears, but
if you were fearing being afraid, then you would be in a constant state of being afraid of being afraid.
Yeah, feedback.
Right?
Yeah, anyway, but yeah, still, Dementor is depression. Dementor is depression, not fear. Dementor is depression. Yeah, they don't know that word because mental health. What is that? Yeah, but
is that ever heard in the wizarding world?
Mental health was not a thing back then in general, I think. Not even your Muggle world.
What do you mean, my Muggle world? I want to go back to my witch world.
Anyway,
not Harry Potter.
Whatever. Back then, this world, mental health, has only recently become a thing, hasn't it? So, enter the local dungeon bed. Nice of you to give us another werewolf hint. Although, we never really do learn about the Wolfsbane potion until the big reveal, do we? That would have been like the thing to do on Snape's part, just mention it in potions, right? That it's a thing, and just brag about this potion and how he's a master or something. He would have found a way. Anyway, still, it's pretend I said some praise here.
Okay, I will.
After the Halloween feast, we're still same day Halloween. Something always goes wrong in Halloween, of course. The Gryffindors find the house portrait. I'm not saying the name. The house portrait all smashed up.
Of course. Percy is the first survivor of the presumably multiple prefects that Gryffindor has, in addition to the head person. I once again ask myself why we never get to know anything about the other prefects, but...
Well, it's because you know who didn't think this through. Also because Percy is a very self-important person and always needs to be first.
I guess. And Dumbledore arrives there quite fast. Almost as if the other portraits already informed him. But from what Dumbledore says, it sounds like that wasn't the case. So secret passages? But if his student told him...
So, Sirius was smart enough to try during the feast, but lost his temper when it didn't work. Not a good sign for sanity. And still Lupin keeps his silence. Chapter 9. Grim Defeat. Now, why are the other students sent to the Great Hall?
We have previously discussed this, whether on the podcast or in private, I don't remember, but Sirius has attacked the Gryffindor common room entrance, and they think Harry is the intended target. So, they would need to protect the lions. No need for the others. Moreover, Sirius fell, so aren't the common rooms clearly safe?
Yes. Why are the Gryffindors not put in that tower where they were clearly safe? Okay, I guess they don't have a portrait at that point, but still, they were safe there.
Still.
No, put everyone in the Great Hall to search the castle for someone who left long before you made such a commotion. It's like the moment you make a commotion, he's gone. He was gone long before that anyway.
Of course he is.
And then, when Sirius actually manages to break in later, no such measurements will be taken. Hypocrisy, I say. Hypocrisy. Also, oh gosh, nightmare. Hundreds of students in sleeping bags. Horrifying. No, I don't wanna.
I had the same thought. Who would be able to sleep in a hall full of people? How many students snore? Not to mention the body heat and other noises. Nightmare.
Good thing I'm never going to attend Hogwarts with Harry. Or at all.
You are, though, just 100 years earlier.
Well, I suppose. Although, the castle in Hogwarts Legacy doesn't seem to be a gigantic death trap, so...
Oh yeah, true.
That's fine, actually. It's like most of my concerns on it, half of my... No, most of my issues with the game are more that it's movieism. It's not book accurate at all. And the teachers are weirdly distorted carbon copies of the teachers from Harry's time, just with different names and slightly altered appearances stepped on. They didn't even change any gender or head of house assignations. I'm not sure this counts as canon at all. It probably doesn't.
It probably doesn't.
So...
Nah.
We would never have to sleep in a room with hundreds of 600 students in one room. Oh gosh.
We will do our best to never do that. And if it ever happens, how can we tell the time? Because how does Harry know that Dumbledore entered the hall around 3 in the morning? By keeping track of the teachers coming in every hour? How does he even know they come in every hour in the first place?
I'm assuming there's a greatly visible clock on the Great Hall, as would be sensible, because it's the Great Hall, where students eat meals and need to know to be on time for classes.
We don't know that because Harry never tells us. And shouldn't it be dark? They're supposed to sleep. It should be dark.
Magic. Also, you have the sky overhead with stars twinkling. And there must be some light for the prefects to see.
Then he must also conveniently face the direction of the clock. Wow, very convenient for you. And also, why is Filch also searching? He couldn't do anything against Black if he encountered him except scream for help.
We do think alike in this chapter, because I was like, poor Filch. What if he had encountered the Mad Mars Murderer? Mad Mars Murderer. He'd have had no way of defending himself. Sorry, darling, guess you're dead now.
Nope.
Whoops.
Whoops. Happens.
Oh, no. Oh, Quidditch again. Why?
Hufflepuff is no pushover. You got our golden boy Seeker now, and everyone knows only the Seeker matters anyway.
Finally a character that gets introduced in an entire book before they become important.
Yes.
Golden boy, Cedric Diggory. Actually, is that a thing in fandom? That they call him that, or is that just a me thing that you got from? I don't know. People, comments, tell us.
I don't know either.
Is Cedric Diggory called a golden boy in fandom? I can't remember.
Tell us.
Another lesson. Ooh, Snape's teaching defense, huh?
Ooh. Well. Snape said, he a bad guy.
Especially in this chapter, but I understand that Snape is a mean, biased, unfair bastard, unsuited to be a teacher, right?
Yes.
Whoever said he was a good person? Liar. But these Gryffindors, they are being extremely disrespectful of their teacher.
Mm-hmm.
They're so disrespectful right to his face. They speak up without raising their hand, asking for permission. They talk back to him. They interrupt him, etc. Yeah, he's being terribly mean about Lupin and all that, but I'm not on Snape's side. But they're all making the entire situation worse. It's Gryffindors.
Yes, Gryffindors.
It's, even if everyone hates this evil teacher, you don't do that. Basic decency and, like, where's the respect for your teachers? No respect? No?
Not at all? Reminds me of Gen Z. Reminds me of Gen Z. They also have no respect for their teachers anymore.
Harry's a boomer, right? Millennial. Harry is at school during the time millennials were born, so...
Oh, yeah. I guess, maybe. I don't know. I don't have the numbers in my head.
I don't know. It's even if you hate the teacher, even if everyone hates it, and then it's like, yeah, this is a bad teacher, he's evil, he doesn't... It's still, you respect the teacher.
Basic respect for your teacher doesn't exist in Gryffindors.
No, apparently not.
So, because of that, it's now time for a Quidditch match.
Why?
Before that, the Crookshanks tries to enter the boys' dormitory. Harry, no grabbing a cat's tail. You are lucky you didn't get scratches all over yourself for grabbing the tail and then proceeding to drag Crookshanks outside. Poor cat. Bad Harry. Very bad Harry.
Bad Harry. Bad Harry. Bad Harry. And because the rest of the chapter is all about Quidditch, skip!
But I had thoughts about that.
Oh, fine. Be quick about it.
Yay! Some thunderstorms or trifles in Quidditch will not be cancelled for something like that. The players are only high up in the air, which makes them easy targets for lightning bolts. But who cares? Well, no one.
No one.
Yes, exactly. No one cares. Why did no one on the team think of repelling the rain on Harry's glasses sooner? With how obsessed they all are, they should have done so long ago. It should have come up during a training session, just, oh, by the way, I can't see shit in these conditions, and if we ever have those during a match, we will be screwed.
It's Harry?
Yes, true. And Harry had a traumatic experience and is completely focused on the outcome of the match. It will be fine if he was doing this to protect his mental state after this traumatic experience, but I could not get the feeling that it is.
Of course, it's all about Quidditch.
Ugh. And then the image of Dumbledore running seems wrong. Just wrong.
Yes.
And why did Hermione empty the cloth full of broken boom shots onto the bed? Lay the cloth on top of it. Now you have to collect everything.
Splinters everywhere. Good idea. Splinters everywhere.
Good idea. Was I fast enough?
Yeah, that was good. Thanks.
Oh, yeah.
We're done.
Good.
We're done.
We're done.
We are on Extra, Spotify, YouTube, and Toffee. Actually, I think we're more than Spotify now. I think by the time this comes up, I might have gotten around to put us on Apple, iTunes, and Google thingy, maybe. I don't know. I'm not updating our thingy, though. Sorry. I sometimes stream on live on Saturdays on Twitch with Cecilia joining via chat or voice at neitshayd.
Yeah. And if you enjoyed this episode, leave us a comment. What is your take on Boggarts?
And Lupin's first class and Lupin in general. Why does everyone like Lupin? Well, I also like Lupin, but why does everyone think he's a good person and teacher? What? No, he isn't. Next up is our anniversary. And then Loki. Until then,